And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. I'm sure, as you could already tell by looking at the title of this video, is just continued uncertainty in the Pokemon hobby. And I think by reading the title of this video, you already know exactly what this video is talking about. It's talking about the fact that here we are we're getting pretty close to the middle of February 2023. Where are these reprints? Where the hell are they? Are they coming, right? I think they're coming. But man, usually distrib keep in mind, I don't have distribute agreements, but usually distributors let people know when reprints are coming 3 to 4 weeks before release, sometimes as short as 2 weeks, I guess. But I thought we were going to see them by the end of February. Like, here we are, mid-February, and to my knowledge, nobody has any knowledge of what these reprints are going to be. I know some people have been told from their distributors that there's going to be reprints, and then there's other people who were told the total opposite, where distributors said to some people, we have nothing coming down the pipeline. We know nothing about reprints. The only thing currently we know is about the Scarlet and Violet block. And it's like, whoa, conflicting information here and there. It's just continued uncertainty. My God, if you told me when we had the crazy booms in 2020 and the 2021s and the 2022s and that that baseline tweet that Pokemon Center came out that said, we understand product is scarce. We're printing to our max capabilities. And then here we are. Crown Zenith is popping. You know, are the most recent sets Silver Tempest, we're starting to see that creep up. Not really going too many sets back. Lost Origins, Astral Radiance, Brilliant Stars, and then the absolute Frankenstein monster that is now of Evolving Skies, which real quick, shout out to I don't know if you guys got to watch. I did open a couple packs when Rattle did his very first Evolving Skies opening, and all my hits. So I graded 3 of them, and then obviously this being the big one, but they all hit 10s. So I was happy with that. So even though I opened a few packs on Rattle streams, I still managed to get 100% Gem Mint 10 rate on every single hit I had. And then, yes, I did grade the Umbreon V too, but that's because that card's still like a nice card. But yeah, the Sylveon V, that was the big hitter. But yeah, if you told me with that tweet, Pokemon scent, and everything that it's still we would be here early 2023 talking about where are the reprints, where's the product, where are the booster boxes. I tell you, you were lying. But we're lucky still. There's still this uncertainty period because there's a lot of booster boxes still available on PokemonCenter.com right now. So really, Pokemon Center right now is keeping those booster boxes low, in my opinion, because there is still supply there. But again, 143. I'm telling you, don't buy booster boxes at 143. But this comes more into the uncertainty conversation we're going to have in today's video. The most expensive booster boxes I've ever bought. I bought, and this is when I say most expensive, I'm talking just strictly modern booster boxes. I bought a couple booster boxes of Cosmic Eclipse at 150. I bought the last reprint of Evolving Skies at 135, and which I bought it originally at 95, sold it at 170, and then rebought back in after the reprint at 135. 135 was the second highest booster box I ever bought. But now this is a crazy thing. Then one of the most recent was the last set we had, which was Silver Tempest. I told you guys I paid $100 for 2 booster boxes to just because I'm collecting 1 booster box for my personal collection, then 1 booster box of every set that my son was born. And $100 for me to buy a booster box is a lot of money. Today, I locked in my pre-orders of Scarlet and Violet at 110 for 2 booster boxes again. I did the same exact thing for Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest, I bought 2, and I said, listen, if down the line there's reprints and stuff, I'm going to start acquiring massive positions in Silver Tempest. Now, I have a bunch of Silver Tempest 3-pack blisters because all my special delivery Charizard codes, I have like a shitload of Silver Tempest 3-pack blisters, Lost Origin 3-pack blisters, and Brilliant Stars 3-pack blisters, because when I was doing the Charizard codes, like those were the 3. So I have a bunch of Lost Origin packs, or not Lost Origin, Silver Tempest. Oh my God, too many modern sets. But I only had 2. And I was waiting for a potential reprint and for booster boxes to ever get to a low price point, 95, 90, 85. If we saw some kind of crazy crash, like to 80, I would have scooped up a lot. I never got that opportunity. Now, Scarlet and Violet, I had to buy it at 110. And today I've seen, because right now, like today, everybody who's got their allocations, people you could actually trust that their allocations are true. And obviously there's some real early pre-orders, but I don't even like to dabble with that. So 110 for a modern booster box. That now brings me to the third most expensive modern booster box I have ever bought. Put that into perspective for you. And the fourth most expensive is Silver Tempest. So out of the four most expensive modern booster boxes I've ever bought in my life, 50% of them are the last two sets. And technically, Scarlet Violet hasn't been released yet, but we're going to call it the next set. 50% of the most expensive modern booster box I ever bought. Crazy to think about. And today I saw PSA Pikachu put up their booster boxes for like 120, but they charge shipping. So I think the lowest on eBay was $129.99. And then I recommend you highly, if you guys are looking for cheap booster boxes or cheap product in general, follow Pokemon TCG Drops on Twitter. He constantly has lowest prices. And then today, I think the lowest booster box he posted today was $111. So I was able to get two booster boxes for $1 less than like Twitter advertised prices. And trust me, when your lowest price that I was able to find is getting $1 less than what's mass advertised on Twitter at 111, that's a scary time we are in right now. Like I said, that is now the third most expensive modern booster box I've ever bought. So but it comes back to the uncertainty because one, I'm not sure how modern plays are going to play out. I don't know. I don't know what the MSRP price increase is going to be. I don't know what reprints are going to do. And I have to acquire my two, no matter what, at a bare minimum, one for my personal collection and one for my son. So I had a guarantee I need to get two booster boxes. And the fact that I've had to lock mine in so early and not been able to, I'm still sitting around patiently waiting for the reprints. And then if prices start to crash, I could pick up a couple cases, start dollar cost averaging down. But I just don't know the market. It's that uncertainty factor. And more importantly than the uncertainty factor is if there is so there's a couple different scenarios that play out. But I think the two major scenarios that print out is one, we get massive reprints. So everybody who was patient, everybody who were waiting will be rewarded. I don't believe that, Silver Tempest or Lost Origins could hold strong prices with big reprints. Astral Radiance, I definitely don't think could like hold good prices. I think Brilliant Stars will probably take a little bit of a beating, probably crash down to like the 120 mark. Evolving Skies, if it got reprinted, I don't know what that price is going to do. It would take a massive reprint, but so that's the one scenario. You get the reprints, everything starts to come back down, and then everybody has buying opportunities again, in my opinion. But also, in my opinion, if we get those reprints, they may be the last reprints of Sword and Shield, at least from booster boxes, we ever see. And again, this is hypothetical. We don't even know if that's coming. And then the second scenario is, which the scenario that I'm not about to dabble into and not about to dip my toe into. But that second one is the people that are just highly, highly speculating on no reprints, which more power to you. If that's what you want to do, then I will give you this. I'll give you the argument that there is huge upside potential if you are dabbling in the what if there are not reprint type thing. That's not for me. Not for me. I mean, that's scary. I'm just not doing it. Not at these prices. But I could see it. If somebody came in, they understand the risks, they know what they're doing, then go for it. Like, it's just not for me. Not something I could ever recommend because I do think reprints are still down the pipeline. But just because I think there's reprints at this point, I'm just wondering where the hell are they? And if they are reprints, like how many sets? Why the hell haven't anybody heard yet? It's just crazy. I mean, we're in one of the bigger, again, when we talk about modern, when we talk about, stuff like this on our channel, we're talking about living in the today, right? We're living in the most today of today's, like in the moment type stuff. So sure, a 2-month, 3-month timeline could seem like an eternity, especially in this hobby. But in the long run of this hobby, like this is just going to be a blip on the radar, which when you guys remember when I made the videos as I walked through the valley of the $79.95 booster boxes, I Fear No Evil and Fusion Strike and Chill and Rain and Evolving Skies dropped down to 95 and Fusion Strike dropped down to 90. That ended up just being a blip on the radar. But in the moment, that might have felt like a long time for a lot of people. And I know a lot of LGSs who were maybe a little bit over leveraged. They really, really felt the pressure during that time. And they had no option but to fire sale these booster boxes. But then as you pull yourself out, you come out like 6 months, 9 months, a year later, and you look back on that and you go, ooh, that wasn't that long of a time, was it? And I mean, the cheapest booster box you could probably find right now is Battle Styles, but even that, like, we're starting to creep back up. And I told you, it already has the same feelings of that Crimson Invasion feel to it. When the booster box market went to total shit and everything dried up, and I don't even know if I have the card I'm thinking of, but yeah, as the market dried up and all these sets went out of print. I don't think I can. I had a card in mind. I don't see it in front of me. But like even Steam Siege, when I talk about it, you scrape the barrel. When Steam Siege started going up, when Crimson Invasion started going up, it's the same reminiscent feel that I have for Battle Styles. Battle Styles is already cracking above the 100, but there's just a lot of those booster boxes still on the market. There's a lot of downward pressure on that booster box. Like every time it breaks through a certain ceiling, we're seeing supplies hit the market pretty constantly. And in fact, like within the last month on rarecandy.com, I saw booster boxes for as cheap as $80 again. So, and that was Battle Styles. So they exist. Man, I don't know. And then the uncertainty is there's still like all these modern plays though too. Like I talked about this. Like all these cards. Just, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Easy play. Easy play. And why didn't more people do those? And both, you got like the Chinese version and the Japanese version, which I thought it was interesting to like, make that play. The Chinese version having the English back, and then the Japanese version obviously having the Japanese new back. Right now, you can pick up those Chinese promos for $6.99. And that's like the biggest guy out there. He has like 3,000 of them available. I think he's probably up to like 2,000 of them sold. $6.99, $15 for grading. Those things hit 10 all days. I've gotten 1.9 on my Chinese English back ones. 1.9 I've hit out of all the cards I've graded. And I've hit 2 9s for the Japanese. So put that into perspective. The Chinese card with the English backs, I've hit 1 9, and the Japanese, I've only hit 2 9s out of all the cards I've made. So there's modern plays out there. $6.99, $15 for grading. That brings you into 22. And I know people love to talk about shipping, so we're just going to round up to $30. We're going to say that one card cost you $4 to ship there and $4 to ship back, which obviously those numbers are now extremely skewed, and there's no way it costs that much because you're sending those in bulk submissions of 15 and whatever. We're just going to do it $30. Oh my God. eBay fees will add in. You can't even, I want to add in like $10, but that's stupid. But it's there. The plays are there. But you get them. I told you this on videos before. If you have a big submission and you put one card into that submission and you say, I only want one card to hit a 10, it will always be the only card that gets like an 8. And I did it. If you guys remember, I did a short series, opened up a bunch of the holiday calendar ones with this Pikachu. Fucking hit an 8. I was so mad. Not mad, disappointed, sad. Because that was the only card I wanted in a 10, because that was going to be a PC card. Because I love that artwork. I love the snowflake on it. Came out of the holiday calendar. I only opened one holiday calendar in order to do that short series. I have no plans to ever open another one of those. And God, it hit the 8. I was so mad. And those cards were in there raw. That was a sad thing. And that's a modern card now. Now I got to go start shopping around, try to pick those things up raw. They're all going to be dented and beat the shit. And then I won't be able to pre-grade them via eBay. That'll be a card that I'll probably never be able to get in a 10 unless I want to pay some crazy premium to pick that up in a 10. This hobby could be a cruel mistress sometimes, man. Sometimes when you think, but going back to the topic of this video and getting off of the tangent that I went on, yeah, it's just this weird uncertainty we're at right now. And I'll tell you what, there'll be some people that are going to do very well right now, and some people that are going to do okay, and then some people that are going to do terrible. I don't know who's going to do terrible. I don't know if the people that are going to do absolutely terrible are the people highly speculating on reprints, or if the people that are going to do terrible are the people highly speculating that there will not be reprints. I don't know which one of those people are going to make it out on top. But anyways, this is a point where I want to do a quick live, and I've only made it like 15 minutes of ranting, but I wanted to just talk about continued uncertainty. And I don't have much new information to bring to the table for this. I'm just shocked by the fact that here we are middle of February, and I want to be able to come on here. I want to talk about reprints. I want to talk about what is getting reprints. I want to talk about speculating what it's going to do to the prices of stuff, but I don't know. And I am shocked by that simple fact that I do not know. Here we are, middle of February. I can't believe it. What the hell is Pokemon printing? I mean, Crown Zenith, we're going to get a bunch of Crown Zenith for a while. I mean, they're already talking about like the other waves coming out. People are just kind of waiting at this point. We're seeing what distribution selling product at too right now. Distribution prices are going up pretty high. Now, I think this is where a lot of people are like showing the flaws in distribution. Like prices are not even across the board depending on people. Like I'm seeing a lot of people who are just getting absolutely destroyed by their distributors on what they're being charged. And then some people who have the same distributor are still just getting charged the same amount of money. So that is also a weird thing. Now that can be, strength of relationships with those people, lengths of relationships with those people, but there's a lot going on. It's a weird little time. And Mason from Cardinal Gaming talked about that booster box shortage we're going through. And I'm seeing it now just from on the collector side. I'm starting to see a lot of people start to make plays very similar to what Mason's having to do. Break down products, start to find out where the packs are and what the good products are. And I see people doing that right now. It's crazy. Like people, and I see so many chats. I see so many conversations where the one product everybody wants to shit on is Charizard UPCs, and I will be laughing when Charizard UPC is $100 right now. There are 16 packs in that. 3 Charizard promos. Those Charizard promos, at this point, you just send them at $15. Hope you get 110. Those 10s are still selling for like $70 to $80. Hit 110 out of the 3. The other 2 hit 9s. Yeah, the 9's probably gonna get beat up on a little bit, selling for like between 30 and $35. So you're into those. You're gonna sell both those for 70 plus the 80 you're going to sell your 10 for. That brings you into like 150. Your grading fee for those 3 cards was like $45. The cost of the entire box is 100. It's funny. I think it's funny. I think it's funny how irrational people are, but yet they'll go talk and they'll open up a freaking Evolving Skies booster box at $330 and not pull any of the chase cards. And if they do pull a chase card and it's not the Rayquaza, it's not the Umbreon, they barely will even break even on that booster box because there's not a lot of expensive cards in there graded at 10. It's funny. But we'll see. Wait, 2 years. Right now, Charizard UPCs are the most readily available product on the entire market. Just, you name them, you walk in any stores, your stores probably won't even have an ETB on the shelf, but they'll have a Charizard UPC. And we'll see. I'm so curious what those things do when the supply dries up. And the only way those things go up in price, I will tell you this right now, is they can no longer be available for sale. And sorry if that was a shocker to anybody out there, but I'm amazed at how many people just think that. We'll see. We'll see what they do. And that's already a cheap product, right? Charizard UPC, because MSRP is $119.99. So you're already able to pick it up on most of these websites for $100. And again, that is $100 you could pick these things up on without doing any digging to really find that real low price. There was that real short windows where we saw $70, $80. Those plays have really dried up, but those are beautiful too. You had a $70, at the time, those things were selling for $70. The promos in there were still worth like $35 just for the sealed promos. And it was like, what the fuck is going on in this market? Like, this is that irrational, but I love irrational markets. I love them. Just give me them, eat them up. Irrational markets. That's the time to buy. When everybody else is scared, that's your time to buy. This is not financial advice. All right, so I'm gonna go to the chat real quick. I got PTCG vlogs in here. James Trapper, Anthony says, continued uncertainty. Come on, man. This is a dunk shot. You can take it to the bank. Investing in Pokemon is like being in Oprah's audience on Christmas Eve. Everyone's a winner. Everyone's a winner until they're not. Kevin Clare said battle styles for everybody. You get a battle styles. You get a battle styles. You get a battle styles. We got Dan Catch 'em All Collectibles in here. Good to see you, man. We got Local Los Collectibles. Tap Rock Bang. He says, I think reprints will happen because there's new Crown Zenith product coming out well into silver border era. So it's not an issue. Oh my God. The yellow border versus silver border issue. It's not a printing issue. It's not. We got to get away from the borders. I'm not entertaining that. I've already talked about it. I'm not entertaining. It's printers could go on and off. Like here, ready? This is a gold border. That's a silver border. That's a black border. That's a gold border. They all came out in the same year. I just gave you 4 different borders. Don't worry that just now that we have silver borders, you could still have gold and yellow and black. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're putting too much thought into it. I don't think, that it matters. I think it's just a matter of flipping a switch on a machine. Now, again, some of the cards I showed are textured cards and stuff, but I mean, we've seen different colored borders on mass printed stuff. I mean, you go back to like Heart Gold Soul Silver. Oh, here we go. Here's a real old silver border for you. There's an old silver border. They exist. Here's another old silver border for you. They exist, man. So that's, these are going back to 2010. So don't worry too much. Silver border, gold border. Who gives a flip? So Mick Nick says, I have a feeling my LGS will probably have Scarlet and Violet booster boxes at like 120. Maybe. You could still pick them up cheaper right now. So if you think that's what they're going to be at, you could go on websites right now and pick them up. I told you, Pokemon TCG just dropped a link for $11. So they're out there. If you want them, I say go get them now. Jacob said MSRP is $164 a box. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you what I said a week ago, a month ago, a year from now, a year ago, 2 years ago when I started this channel. There's no such thing for MSRP for booster boxes. I do not care what anybody says, and I do not care what PokemonCenter.com has their booster boxes listed for. There's no such thing as MSRP. So now Scarlet and Violet does have a higher quote unquote MSRP and stuff. There's MSRP for some products, but I don't think booster boxes, at least you should never be paying MSRP for booster boxes. Definitely not right at release. There are always cheaper options. And if you are paying MSRP for booster boxes, you're usually historically in this hobby very, very late to the game. Very late to the game if you're paying those prices. Yeah, so Tap Rock brings up another point. Brings up the question: will the reprints be the size of like the latest Evolving Skies reprint, or will it be a massive dump? So yeah, the latest Evolving Skies reprint we had. I mean, some people I knew were only getting like 2 cases worth of booster boxes. 2 cases of booster boxes, that's nothing. That's at that point dust in a wind. So that's why when I picked up my positions on that last reprint, I had to pay so much, thus making it the second most expensive booster box I ever bought for Modern. So he brings up a good point. What are reprints? The other massive reprints were that Chill and Rain, Battle Styles, Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies, like that timeline. Those were massive dumps, especially the Battle Styles was a huge dump of product. So Jacob says his friend has about 1K in Evolving Skies blisters. He's trying to sit on them. Yeah, Evolving Skies blisters that's another thing. Weird, fake, like free money. There's a lot of stores just restocking Evolving Skies blisters right now at $3.99. I know a lot of like for whatever reason down south, like Florida area, I'm seeing Publix, everyone know what a Publix is. We don't have Publix where I am. I'm sure a lot of people watching this video don't have Publix by them, but for whatever reason, Publix, the grocery store, just seems to be this magical land of Evolving Skies blister packs where they're just keep restocking Evolving Skies at $3.99. So I've seen a lot of people just picking up those blisters or single pack blisters, just literally going home and listing them right on eBay. I've seen some eBay auctions of those where you can see the people are literally sitting in their car. You can see their steering wheel as the backdrop, and they're just showing 36 pack and selling for stupid premiums. It's like, oh, okay, that must have been convenient. You walked into the store, you bought them, you walked out, took a photo in your car. It's like, we're right back to the 2020, 2021 scalper paradise hype period. And it's like, how did we get back to this? And how do we get back to it so quick? This is quick. Remember that? Everybody was like, at least all the scalpers are gone from the hobby. Scalpers are gone. If this is gone, I don't know what your definition of gone is. The fact that I've seen people doing that, but then you can't do it for the shitty products. At least maybe that's a difference where and 2020, 2021, you could scalp anything. You could literally scalp anything. You could go in, you could buy starter decks and all kinds of crazy stuff, just you name it. You could scalp it. But maybe at least today, maybe the buyers can only scalp some products. They can't scalp everything. At least have like a decent amount of, meat left on the bone on these. So here, Pokemon West Bragg says, yep, my girl told me I could have $100 to spend, and I looked at my regular spots. Most everything is sold out, maybe because people get in tax return money trying to invest flip. I haven't even done my taxes yet. Yeah. Everybody loves to talk about taxes. I was watching shout out to Dan Catch 'em All Collectibles and Old School Pokemon. I was watching the most recent episode of their podcast, and they just were talking about taxes the whole time. And I got my own thoughts on taxes, but I'm not a I don't give out tax advice. Only Dan Catch 'em All Collectibles gives out the tax advice. Loco Los Collectibles says, PK, do you feel reprints hold less value than OG prints? And also, can you tell? I think so. What are you saying? I think that like first waves of products, is that what you're talking? And how can you tell? So for a lot of this super modern stuff, like first print or first waves, like Hidden Fates is a perfect example. Hidden Fates, there's a huge conspiracy theory that the first print waves had crazy hits. And sadly, I don't personally like believe that that's how Pokemon print sets, that they somehow like pull back the hits on these later reprints. But from personal experience opening Hidden Fates, I will definitely tell you that the first wave of Hidden Fates definitely felt like the pull rates were way better. At least my personal like luck, I had a lot of success with like the first waves of Hidden Fates. And then the later waves. Now, this could be the caveat. For the first waves of Hidden Fates, I did open up the ETBs, and then for the later reprints, I was opening up literally every single Charizard tin that I could get my hands on. And then like a couple Raichus, but not a lot, but mainly just any Charizard tin I could get my hands on, because I was just grading Charizard promos, which I'm sure, we got 90 people watching this live right now. I'm sure 85 of those 90 people were doing that same play, grading those Charizard promos from those tins. So I did open up a lot of tins at the end, and the pull rates were dog shit compared to what those first waves are. So is there merit to it? Maybe. Now, for some of this super modern stuff, you think about like Evolving Skies and stuff, you have the green and white code cards. So when you open up a pack, you could tell that way. And then for some of these new ones, they have the new live. So it's now, the white code card or the black code card border. So at least you could tell that way. But now as for like UPC codes or something on the bottom of booster boxes, maybe, but nothing that like really comes out to the top of my head. Now for tins and stuff, Pokeballs, stuff like that, like looking for D12 or D21 or whatever the code is on the bottom of the tins, you can definitely tell reprints from codes for those tins. But booster boxes, ETBs, that I'm not sure of. Definitely tins though. So Garrett M says, so where do the rest of us peasants get those 110 pre-order deals from? Listen, Pokemon TCG drops on Twitter. His very last tweet was $111 booster boxes. There you go. Sorry that they weren't 110. You're going to have to pay $1 more than I'd paid. I think you'll be okay. But again, 110's a lot. I literally just told you before that is the third most expensive modern booster box that I have ever bought in my entire life. So just keep that into perspective, please. That I'm only doing 2. I'm not doing this as a play. Hopefully Scarlet and Violet is just dump city and we just see like prices start crashing around, and people don't like to hear that. Listen, I love prices crashing down because then and only then do I have my entry points. And then when the entry points are good, when everybody else is scared, that's when I'll buy in. Just like I did with Chill and Rain. And I made those videos talking about as I walk through the valley, $79, $95 booster boxes. I fear no evil. And when the market is crashing, when those things are going down, that's when I don't fear evil. When things are not in my control, which I guess technically those aren't in my control, but at least I felt more in control with those. When the market is doing irrational stuff, I don't feel like I'm in control. People are just driving, Jesus take the wheel type stuff. No one knows where they're going. So let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah. Local Lowe's Collectibles said, guys, hit the like button. Appreciate that. RN Genesis says, why open up a booster box when you can just buy your favorite card from that set and a PSA slab far easier and less money? Gambling on happiness, sealed collection that aren't holding for 30 years, getting burned. So, if you're talking vintage, okay, buy the PSA slab. If you're talking anything modern, anything, never buy the card already graded in a PSA slab. Always grade that card raw, grade it yourself. I just picked up, I picked up a lot of raw cards lately. Oh, there you go. Speaking of the devil, crappiest set ever. Little Steam Siege. Mega Salix and a 10. That was a raw card I picked up for like, I would have to tell you. I don't want to misquote this price because I know that was a cheap one. But yeah, there's definitely cheap ones. I'm pulling out my eBay right now. I want to know exactly what I bought that for. My eBay purchases. Search. Steelix. $5. $5 I paid on $5. That's how much I paid for that card. Paid $15 to grade it. Hit a 10. Winner, winner. I mean, is that 10 going to sell for greater than $20? Probably. So there are definitely deals out there. You just got to, when it comes to modern, always grade yourself. Never buy the 10. So if that's what RN Genesis is saying, I could get with them behind the vintage stuff, but modern stuff, no, never buy the PSA slab. Prodigal Man says, who cares? Pokemon cards are an investment, but only if it makes you happy. Some people it is. Wes says, I've been through these blips a bunch since 2015. People get FOMO, or some look at Pokemon and see an easy flip to make $20+ and buy stuff out. Yeah. Oh no, I skipped to the bottom. What a cruel world we live in. I'm doing so good. I was hashtag skip to the bottom. Let's see. I think I'm back. So Mick says, Mick says, wasn't that the #1 most submitted card for January? So yeah, you bring up a good point. We could look at those. We could talk about the most submitted cards for January, and you guys would probably not be surprised at what they were. So most submitted cards to PSA in January 2023, if you guys don't know, the #1 card was the Japanese, was this, oh, that's Chinese, was this guy. Nope, that's Chinese. That one. #1 most submitted card for January 2023, which makes total sense. That card, what I've already talked about, Ultimate Race to the Bottom. I don't know where those 10s wind up, but they're definitely going to wind up lower than they are today. Is it going to be Charizard Champions Path type PSA 10 prices? Maybe. Is it going to be lower? Maybe. I don't know. But my recommendation to you is sell as fast as you possibly can. And if you are worried, if you want that 10 in your personal collection, just sell the card, get the money, buy it raw again, rinse and repeat, and just keep rinsing and repeating until eventually the price of that card in a 10 versus the raw versus grading is break even or lose money. Just rinse and repeat. All right, then Number 2, number 3, number 4 are all the Charizard like promos from the Charizard UPC. The number 5 is, wow, this is crazy. So oh no, that's not crazy. So the number 5 most graded card is the special livery Charizard. The number 6 most expensive card is the Japanese full art Charizard V-Star. The number 7 is the Japanese Sword and Shield V-Star Universe Radiant Charizard. Number 8 is 2001 Pokemon Celebrations Classic Collection Charizard Holo. The number 9 is the Lugia V Alt Art from Silver Tempest. And then the number 10 is a Radiant Charizard. So 8 of the 10 most graded cards in January 2023 for PSA, 8 of the 10 were Charizards. So, yeah, the only 2 non-Charizards was that Lugia V and that Pikachu Scarlet and Violet promo 001. What does it mean? It means some stuff never changes. But I am actually kind of surprised that the Celebrations Charizard was number 5. I would have thought that all those would have like been graded already because I don't think people are opening Celebrations as much, but maybe they are. So West Bragg says Japanese is stupid right now. A lot of people are going to regret buying and holding Japanese product. I don't dabble in the Japanese market, so maybe I'm not the right person to talk about. There are a lot of people that are like well more knowledgeable in the Japanese market. I recommend you going out, recommend you talk to them. Anthony says no more Celebration reprints. That's a buy. Anthony, you had your opportunities to buy Celebration. That was my Celebrations 10 for my live mission. Mac the Hypnus Pokemon says, I'm not worried about making money in Pokemon. I just don't want to overpay for my Japanese booster boxes. Yeah, I think a lot of people are paying a lot. I want to say like it's like 2x MSRP. I think MSRP for Japanese booster boxes for Scarlet and Violet are $40. Now, that might have gone up in Japan because I don't know if because English had an MSRP price increase for booster boxes. I don't know if the Japanese booster boxes went up. So I don't know if they're actually still, $40 American. So they might have actually gone up. But even that, I think they're selling for like 120 USD right now. So it's a lot. And the crazy thing is there's supposed to be like limited releases and stuff, but I've seen some photos of people getting monster allocations of these booster boxes. I don't know how they're doing that, but they're doing it. This is why I don't like to dabble really into the Japanese sealed product because I'm just not familiar enough with the market. Like English market, I know people personally with distributor agreements. I know personally, like I could go on PokemonCenter.com, see what they're selling. I could go to 100 different Pokemon sites that sell product. Now, for the Japanese ones, how I could hear like some Joe Smo collector off the street walks into his local LGS and they're limited to 1 booster box. And then you have some of these guys selling product from Japan in pallets of 200, 300 of them. See, the fact that I don't know how that's possible is the reason why I don't dabble in the Japanese market because there's just too many question marks for me. It's like, wait, super rare. This guy gets 1, but then there's other people that are supposed to yeah, it's just confusing. Unless some of this stuff is like LGSs that are just not selling to their local patrons and they're just taking 100% of whatever allocations those people get as LGSs and they're just shipping 100% of it overseas. Because I've seen a lot of supply from some of these people. So Kevin Clare says GameStop loaded up because $60. Yes and no. Very important fact to think about GameStop. Go get your Crown Zenith ETPs at GameStop if you can't find them, because one thing that a lot of people do not know about GameStop does price match. So as long as you can find that booster box on like a Target or a Walmart or a Pokemon Center, or maybe not PokemonCenter.com because they're exclusive, as long as you can find that same ETB or like an ad or an article from, like I don't even think newspapers are still a thing, but you know what I mean. You actually find something that you can show the in-store people. They will price match at GameStop. So do keep that in mind. Never spend $60 at GameStop because they will price match. Keep that in the back of your mind for next time you're there. And especially if GameStop is your last choice. So El Dentistas VGC says, I sold my VMAX UPC promo for $120 and a 10. There you go. I think I got one of those in front of me too. There you go. Charizard VMAX and a 10. You just keep doing it. Keep rinsing and repeating. Eventually the market will stop. We're not there yet. Maybe we'll get there. We'll get there. I promise you we'll get there. Well, let's see what else we got. Mac the Hypnosis Pokemon says, long run, the Zard UPCs will be worth something guaranteed. I think by Scarlet and Violet, the Prince will stop. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's the funny thing too with the Charizard UPCs, which we won't get into it too much, but like, remember like the outcry, which was the Celebrations UPC, and everybody was just crying that they weren't able to get one, and they wish that Pokemon printed these things to the ground and all this stuff. And then everybody got their wish with the Charizard UPC. And the second that I'm telling you, the one thing you will find about this market is if people can get something, they will not want it. And we've seen it happen as recently in the last 2 weeks. Listen, we saw it when Pokemon Center Crown Zenith ETBs went out of stock. eBay ran wild. Pokemon Center ETBs on eBay. Prices were selling for greater than $100. Like the next day, they were readily available again on PokemonCenter.com. Selling again for 63. They were in stock for a couple days. Then they went out of print again. And then what happened instantly? eBay loses their mind. Everybody loses their mind. Do you think that Pokemon Center is ever going to get restocked? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, PokemonCenter.com, whatever the price is on that website, is literally going to be the cheapest you will ever get those. There is no secondary market other than just random people who bought it at that price. Meaning there's no LGSs. Nobody with, tax-free accounts and stuff are getting those for cheaper. No. The cheapest price you're going to get on PokemonCenter.com, because that is designed for the end user. So whoever buys it, that's the cheapest you're going to buy. The fact that people wait for that shit to go out of stock on PokemonCenter.com, and then, and only then, are they like, this is the time I need to go on eBay and buy it. These things may never get restocked. Now I want it. It's like, what is going on? Why? Time after, and it happens. It just happens. Groundhog's Day. Time after time after time, this stuff happens. But when stuff is available, nobody wants it. It's, it's funny. It's even like Anthony mentioned celebrations earlier. Yeah, think about celebrations. There was a period of time where you can pick up celebrations, and then people just got tired of celebrations. They didn't want to open up any more celebrations. They're like, I've got my fix. And now celebrations no longer available. Now people want celebrations. It's crazy. Crazy. It doesn't make sense. Let's see. Gentleman guy said, PK, I see you leaning in your chair showing off that Zard UPC. I got which one? Oh, this one. It's funny because I said you could grade 110 and get 2 9s, and the 3 I graded were 110, 2 9s. So but these are all at this point, this is all $15 Charizard UPC grading, which is crazy. I grade Charizard UPC promos at 100. I grade them at 50, and I grade them at 15. We're just going to keep grading them until people no longer want them. And then eventually, when nobody wants them, then maybe I'll finally own my 10. I still need a 10 for my personal collection. You guys have heard it here. I've said it a million times. I'm still a collector. I don't own a 10 in my personal collection. I need a 10. Eventually, as prices get low enough, I will grade my 10, and then I'll look at the market and say, okay, finally, the market's not worth it. The market's not paying a premium. And then, and only then, do I get to now take that card, put it into my personal collection. The same thing is with Special Delivery Charizard. I thought I was going to have a chance to own a 10. Luckily, I still have about 35 more out for grading. So I think one of those 35s at least is going to hit a 10. And then when it does hit a 10, I think I'm going to have to start pulling out at least one Charizard or Special Delivery Charizard for my personal collection, because we're at the point where I don't even think like Special Delivery Charizards are ever going to crash in price low enough where I'm going to feel comfortable buying it, or sitting on it, I should say. Let's see. We got Jumblefit says, I can't wait for my Celebrations Mudkip to be a whole $5. Mudkip from Celebration. I can't even think of what card that is. Is that like one of the premium collection tins? No. I don't know what card you're talking about. Brad G Card says, Publix is a goat grocery store. I knew it was a grocery store, but we just don't have them up here. It's just like we don't have Wawas here, but anybody from New Jersey talking about Wawas, they know all about Wawas. Wawas is like the GOAT gas station. So Pariah says, Evolving Skies is way overrated. Everybody buying, saving it. Brilliant Stars and Crown Zenith are going to be the sets wanted later on, just his opinion. Maybe. Every modern set is the best set that Pokemon's ever released or ever will release. Yeah, Kevin Clare says when Rudy bought up all the cheap boxes. Yeah, Rudy bought up a lot. Jake bought up a lot. I bought up a lot. Apple says another PK ramble. They're all PK rambles. Strap yourself in. We don't know where these going. Catch 'em all collectibles says PK. Let's hear some PK takes on taxes. I'll give you a PK take on taxes. You should never make money in Pokemon on paper. You should lose money in Pokemon on paper 100% of the time. If you are making money in Pokemon, you are doing something wrong. That's how you do your taxes. You should be losing money. How you people are all making money. Your buys should far be outweighing your sales. Cheval says, without taxes, you get a third world country where there is no social solidarity, ramping violence, and a grim future. Oh, he must be talking about like Canada, where a lot of that stuff's going on. XBX Spartan says, LOL, when I went to my local Target, found some ETBs hidden in the home goods section. That's pretty funny. I love that like people are like, I don't have enough money to buy this Crown Zenith ETB, but I will have money to buy this, so I need to hide it. Those people, if you are that person that you feel you need to hide your Crown Zenith ETBs until you wait for payday, you probably should not be invested in Pokemon products if you are waiting for your payday to buy this stuff. That is a scary thought, that they need to hide it like behind the blender or whatever. Let's see. Catch 'em all collectible, or somebody saying to Dan, catch 'em all collectible, just like any collectible hobby. We're in the Pokemon community. Know that if price goes up during tax season, he said, I love PK to take an in-depth look at it. I don't know. Pokemon and tax season. Too funny thing. We got Mertz in the chat. Good to see you, Mertz. Basic Trainer says, I do not have an uncle named Sam. Yeah, that's good. I don't know why a bunch of people just joined this chat, but if you guys join this chat, do me a favor. Smash that like button. If you're not subscribed to this channel, do me a favor. Smash that subscribe button. Helps me out a lot. So Pokebondo said, somebody posted about doing that in a local Facebook group. He was in the other day about hiding ETBs. Big yikes. Yeah. Can you imagine? That's a scary thought, dude. If you're getting to the point where you feel you need to hide Pokemon ETBs, you're probably doing Pokemon wrong, my friends. But yeah, man. As always. Oh, okay. Professor Oak says Pokemon drops people. Welcome to the live stream. Listen, I've always said this about I don't know if Pokemon TCG drops just shouted people out for and brought him here, but he's definitely got like one of the best Twitter pages, hands down. But more importantly, if Pokemon TCG drop is out there and he is currently in the chat and he is lurking, dude, you are welcome onto my channel. You are welcome for an interview at this point in my channel. If any of you guys are just joining now, I co-host a podcast series with myself, Cool Trainer Ryan, Rattle Pokemon. We have a monthly podcast. We just talk about Pokemon. I've had on my channel. PokeRed's been on multiple times. Obviously, Rattle, Ryan. I've had Danny Phantom on. I've had Rusty TCA Gaming on. Gemmit Pokemon's been on. Scott Pratt joined whether he wanted to join or not. He definitely joined. I've had Gary King Pokemon on. I've had Dan Ketchum All Collectibles. Jake from Pokenomics, Nick Old School Pokemon, Joe Echo Base Collectibles, Matt Pokemon Classics, Professor Oak, Basic Trainer, Pokemon Radar. Squeaks joined at the end of a Pokemon Radar live stream. There's just so many different people that have been on this live stream, and I shouldn't even start naming because I'm sure there's just going to be a bunch of people I forgot. Mason Cardinal Gaming, so many of the big heavy hitters, and that's it. We need Pokemon TCG drops to join in. And for any guys who don't know who he is, what he does is he just has a Twitter account where that's what he does. He drops like the cheapest, lowest price items that are currently available on different stores, whether it's Amazon dumps, definitely like some of the Pokemon Center ones. He's one of the very few people that I have notifications on. I think about some of the super hard Pokemon Center ETBs that there were to get, like the Evolving Skies Pokemon Center ETBs. The only reason I was able to pick them up was because of Pokemon TCG drops, like dropping those Evolving Skies links. Now, at the time, keep in mind, original Pokemon Center ETBs, Chillin' Rain. Chillin' Rain was that 8-pack ETB. It was like the Air ETB, and then Pokemon ended up sending out like the 2 extra packs, and then it had the 3 legendary birds, like the Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos, or like the 3 promos with the 2 packs, and Pokemon sent that out for free. So with the Chillin' Rain original Pokemon Center ETBs, we all thought like maybe these are going to be like Air ETBs. Are they going to be weighable in the future and all this stuff? But that never happened. Chillin' Rain ETBs, once they ended up going out of stock, they never came back. So you can only ever get them in 8th. And those were the first ones. And then Evolving Skies dropped. And when Evolving Skies dropped, those were only on the website for like an hour, and the website kept crashing. And then we saw like very, very sparse reprints of those Evolving Skies ETBs. And then when we saw those sparse Evolving Skies ETBs, it was like, okay, eventually these got to come back. Eventually they got to be dumps. And then the same thing with Celebrations ETBs, like Pokemon Center ETBs, big dumps. And then eventually those did come back and they sat for a while. But the crazy thing about Pokemon Center ETBs is when they're there, for whatever reason, people get their fill and they don't want them anymore. It's only until these things are no longer available that people want them. You look at like your Brilliant Stars Pokemon Center ETBs, those things were up forever. Astro Radiance Pokemon Center ETBs are probably still up there. It's just, I'm telling you, the market's irrational. People only ever want what they can't have. And I think about what's like one of the most expensive ETBs that exists. If you look at Sword and Shield and excluding Pokemon Center ETBs, the most expensive ETB that exists is Rebel Clash. Think about that. The only reason Rebel Clash ETBs are so expensive is because they were readily available for a long time. Nobody wanted them, but Rebel Clash ETBs never got reprinted. Darkness Ablaze ETBs went up to like some stupid price, $120. Vivid Voltage ETBs went up to like $100. And then what happened? Everybody FOMO'd in. They wanted them at 120. They wanted Vivid Voltage ETBs at 90. The second those things got reprinted, pushed the prices down to like $25 for Darkness Ablaze ETBs and $30 for Vivid Voltage ETBs. The second those hit 90, the second they went from 120 to 30, nobody wanted them anymore. Instantly, I don't want them. These things are only worth $30. People only ever want stuff when they're expensive. It's the most crazy shit that's going on. So yeah. Pokebando says Pokemon TCG drops helps him get some Sun and Moon 3-pack blisters last week. He's a go. Yeah. My favorite Sun and Moon Air 3-pack blister is probably the Celebi 3-pack blister from Cosmic Eclipse. Is definitely my favorite. I love that Celebi artwork from Sun and Moon. Now, my favorite single pack blister, like check lane blister from Sun and Moon Timeline, is hands down Team Up with you have the one Team Up check lane blister that has just the Mimikyu artwork, but I love the one with the Pikachu and the Mimikyu. That is the GOAT of all single pack check lane blisters. Gurang 315 said, PK, I sent you that submission video the other day. Sold the Pikachu V Union for $175. Buy it now. Good for you, man. And listen, anybody out there who's just joining this chat now, who's maybe not familiar with this channel, again, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. But I've talked about this a lot of times, so definitely the people that are more familiar, subscribe to my channel. If you guys want to be successful in this hobby, never buy graded modern cards. And now I'm talking to you, the guy who has literally just tuned into this channel for the first time, has no clue who I am, didn't even know this channel existed. I'm talking to you now. Yes, you. Listen, you need to be grading your own cards. You need to be sending your first submission. If you've never sent in your first submission to PSA, you need to do that immediately, and it's not too late. At this point in the hobby, you probably have acquired so many cards, especially if you're into more modern stuff. If you did come through, because Pokemon TCG Drops obviously does a lot of the modern plays. If you are opening a lot of modern, at this point, you have cards. And if you have made the cardinal sin of buying modern 10s, yeah, you probably learned the hard way that whatever modern 10 you bought has probably gone down in price, with the exception of if you were the one guy that bought, Moonbreon PSA 10s, which is probably the only exception of modern 10s that have gone up in price, crashed down in price, and then continue to go back up. Those things are selling for around $1,000 right now in a 10. With the exception of that card, if you have done any other cards, you probably lost money. So you've learned that mistake. But now this is the point where you need to grade your own cards, because you grade a 10, you're going to figure out, one, don't grade with CGC unless you want like 9.5s and you like no money. If you want to throw away your money, go ahead. Grade with CGC, grade with AGS, grade with maybe Beckett. Beckett's okay. You want to go black label hunting? You're a better man than me. Listen, I know what the premium is. Just think about the Moonbreon. We just talked about it. PSA 10 rate for Moonbreon, 85%. Between 80 and 85% gem mint 10 rate if you sent that card. And trust me, there's a lot of people blind send their Moonbreons to PSA. 80% gem mint 10 rate. So that means 8 out of every 10 cards you send, you're going to get a PSA 10. Beckett Black Label, 5% Black Label rate. So yes, that Black Label sells for between $6,000 and $8,000. You have about a 5% Black Label rate. So yes, you could do that. You could be the ballsiest of ballsiest play. And if you do that, you'd like hit the ultimate Pokemon lotto in a way. If you're going to do that path, good for you. I personally, I don't do the Beckett play, but I can see it. So I'm telling you, if you've never done it, I definitely recommend you submitting your first ever cards to PSA. And if you are scared, there is a plenty of videos right now on YouTube. All you got to do, not even on this channel, just go into YouTube, type in the search bar, type in how to submit cards to PSA. There's a million different people. It is the most simple thing. You take a card, get a card saver one, you get that card, put it into a penny sleeve, you put it in the penny sleeve, you put it in your card saver one, and then you pack them together, you create your pack and slip, and you're done. And if you like modern cards, here, modern plays. I do modern plays too. So if you guys are into modern plays, got a lot of modern plays in front of me. But do it, man. Shiny cardboard. Should I send my Moonbreon to CGC instead of send it to PSA? Do not do that. So BX Spartan says black labels are insane to get. Yes, they are insane to get. Let's see. Aaron Luvano says, what if you bought modern graded cheaper than market? So you're saying, what if you bought a modern 10 cheaper than you can buy that card raw? Good for you, man, if you are able to do that. I haven't, send me an example of that. I've never seen like where a 10 sells for cheaper than the raw price, but maybe it was like a freak auction, but I would find that pretty unlikely. Let's see. Saul P says, thoughts on tag team and old EX cards. So old EX cards, are we talking old EX cards like old Nintendo EX cards? Are we talking like going all the way back to Ruby Sapphire? Are you talking EX cards like the Chansey or like the Scissor or sorry, the Scyther EX from Ruby Sapphire, or trying to think, or just like go a little forward into like EX Sandstorm next set, or EX Dragon? Like EX Dragon has an Aerodactyl. EX Aerodactyl from EX Dragon is one of my favorite, or no, sorry, EX Dragon from Sandstorm is my favorite EX card of all time. Or, fast forward, you go into like right before you get into the Gold Star sets, and then you look at like a Fire Red Leaf Green, and you look at like the EX Charizard. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about EX cards from like modern EX cards? So you got like either your capital EXs or your lowercase EXs. Which ones are you talking about? So how do I feel about tag team cards from the Sun and Moon era though? Love them. Sun and Moon tag team cards, some of the most underrated cards out there. When you look at a card like this, like the Sylveon V from Evolving Skies, you look at that card, you're like, yeah, that's a nice card, beautiful artwork, super expensive pack. Evolving Skies is getting pricey, but it's still available. You can still pick up some packs for $3.99, like I mentioned earlier. Go to some of these tag team sets. You look at like, think about the ultimate, just like tag team set is actually tag team itself. You got the Gengar and the Mimikyu, the Rainbow Rare card. That card is such a slept on card, like super slept on. Even like the crazy tag team promos are some of the beautiful ones. Like even the ones as mass produced, like ultimate mass produced, like the Venusaur and Celebi tins that they had, or the Pikachu and Reshiram, or no, it's a Pikachu and Zekrom tins. Like the Pikachu and Zekrom tins, like those things are super, super mass produced, but still beautiful artworks. But there are so many different tag team like GX cards and stuff like that. And even some of the like pseudo alt art cards. Think about like Cosmic Eclipse was like the Blastoise and Piplup card. I freaking love that card. That is just a beautiful card. There are so many good tag team cards that exist. Pokemon Steven said, hello, PK. Good to see you, man. Pokebondo says tag teams have definitely been seeing fear of loss, especially with the alt art hysteria. Yeah, I think that's a problem. Is people are very blinded by modern, and when I say modern, I'm talking ultra modern, meaning the newest set. People love the newest, shiniest thing, like your newest alt art card. Whereas, yeah, some of these Sun and Moon cards they have got passed up on. And keep in mind, pull back to Sun and Moon, like Rainbow Rare cards. Rainbow Rare cards were the freaking shit forever. All of a sudden now nobody likes Rainbow Rare cards. It's like, okay, fine. You don't like Rainbow Rare cards. Cool. But let's not, my best here. This is my personal, that's my favorite ever rainbow card from Lost Thunder. The Mimikyu GX from Lost Thunder. This is my favorite like Rainbow Rare card ever. Now, why do I love this card? Because I love Mimikyu. I think I showed you. But like, I've done so many of these graded plays. My favorite artwork for Mimikyu is a Mimikyu watching the TV. You got Acerola in the background. You can see like the Mimikyu shadow and stuff, and the Mimikyu shadow is a little different than his actual body. And then you see like the face of Acerola like looking at that Mimikyu, and she's just shocked. And I love that artwork. But that's because I love Mimikyu. I love the backstory of Mimikyu. I love the story of Mimikyu from like the cartoons and stuff. And I look at a card like that and I say, that Mimikyu from Lost Thunder is the first ever like Mimikyu card. That is literally like the Mimikyu rookie card. And I love like the Mimikyu card from Cosmic Eclipse, just the one where he's peeking around the tree and he's got his head sticking out. And that is like a common card from Cosmic Eclipse. Beautiful. I love it, especially in the reverse, like the reverse foil ones, because I love like the purple of the card. Absolutely beautiful card. I think with the Mimikyu, I love Mimikyus. So to answer your question, yeah, like some people, they do get blinded by these alt art cards and they forget cards like that even exist. Pokebondo says prices took a huge bump across the board over the past 3 to 4 months. Yeah, definitely. Pokebondo says Lugia EX from Unseen Force. I think Pokemon Bondo messaged me, but yeah, I talk about it all the time. Like Lugia EX, beautiful card from Unseen Forces. And again, Unseen Force, and again, that one is like super silver. That's like the one where Lugia is like kind of jumping out like this. Beautiful card. Unseen Forces, it's so sad what's happened with Unseen Force, and I talk about this all the time. Unseen Forces is easily could go down as one of the best sets Pokemon has ever created. The only problem that hurts Unseen Forces is that Unseen Forces is unfairly held down by the Gold Star dogs. And the only reason that those Gold Star dogs are tainted is because so many of those are stolen from the factory. That is why it's literally the most graded Gold Star of any set of all time. And if you guys are not familiar with Unseen Forces Gold Star dogs, like Rattle Pokemon has made videos, there are videos that exist of people just flipping through like 3-ring binders, just this thick of each one. So you got like a Suicune, a Raikou, and the Entei, and each one is just their own individual binder, and it's just page after page after page of those gold stars because they were stolen from the factory. And because they were stolen from the factory, they hindered the Unseen Forces. But Unseen Forces is a monster set, especially like there's just so many good cards in there. Oh no, I jumped to the bottom. Let's see. So we got Josh Rarefine says, I just sent my second PSA submission in. In my first, I got back a grade 10 Celebrations Charizard reverse foil. Yeah. Celebrations reverse foil. I don't think you meant to say reverse foil. I think you just meant hollow. But yeah, if you got a Celebrations Charizard back in your submission, that's awesome. If for whatever reason you didn't mean to say Celebrations and you meant to say Evolutions, and that was the reverse foil you sent, and you wrote Celebrations instead of Evolutions, and like still awesome card. To hit 10s for Evolutions is not an easy task to do. Like Evolutions has super shitty print quality. So if you got a reverse hollow Charizard and 10 from Evolutions, good. But if you got the 10 in the Celebrations, which what you wrote, also good. Basic Trainer said, PK, should I sell my Pokemon and PSA slabs to invest in MetaZoo and CDC slabs? I think what you better thing to do is take your money, get it in a nice big pile, go in your backyard, light a fire, wait for that fire to get to a real good, like roar, and then take all your money, Basic Trainer, and just throw it in the fire because it's going to be a lot quicker for you than buying a bunch of MetaZoo. Pokemon Steven says, Saul P, talking to somebody in the chat, says, I sell around 20 basic tag team GX cards and PSA 10 a week. I can't keep up with the stock, really. All the artwork is done by Arita. It's awesome. Yeah. Tag team cards are, every single one is sick. Pokebondo says, I'm not a huge fan of the more modern EXs, to be honest. There are some really sweet full arts he can get behind. Yeah. I just showed, well, that's a GX, but, so Matthew Hoffman said, because of your videos, I took my leap of faith, and graded my first cards. My Japanese full art Rosa that I bought for $70 graded a 10 and sold for $950 before I even got the card back from PSA. Congrats, Matthew. That is awesome. And again, that should put it into perspective for people. He took a $70 card, graded it for $15. He was all into that card for $95. Again, people are going to get mad at me when I don't talk about shipping to and from. So whatever, we'll round up, say $110, which again is a stupid. I add too much. $110. He got that card graded by PSA, and now with PSA, if you guys are familiar, they now upload every single card, so they scan every one of your cards. So as soon as your grades are released, you click on that card, click on that cert number. You're going to pull up a photo of your card. All you got to do is you crop out that card. You'd use the photos that PSA uses because they're all high quality scans. Take those high quality scans, put them right into your eBay listing, use those 2 photos, list it, put it as a 5-day or a 7-day auction. By the time you get those cards back, that auction probably has 1 to 2 days left on it. Make $950. Good for you, Matthew. That is awesome. I didn't know that Rosa is worth that much money, so it shows you how familiar I am not with the Japanese market. Lance of Master says, I have a Mew, Mewtwo, Alt GX, and Jigglypuff, Mega Loop, Alt GX, and a PSA 10. Yeah, both those cards are sweet. Yeah, the Mewtwo, Mew definitely too. People are saying it doesn't sound like much of a leap of faith. Yeah. BX Spartan says, my seal collection is grown, but damn, I get the urge to open something too hard to keep things sealed sometimes. Listen, I'll never be the person who's going to sit here behind the camera and tell you never to open anything. If you are ever losing that aspect of this hobby for you, where opening cards stops being fun for you, I promise you, you're doing something wrong in that case. But if you are opening so much product that it's now becoming like detrimental to your overall mental health, or more importantly, becoming detrimental to your wallet, then I would tell you to stop. But if you're doing it, understanding what you're doing, having fun doing it, then I'm never going to be the guy to sit there and tell you not to. So Lol Statch says, PSA listed their top 10 most submitted cards for January. Half of them were modern Sword and Shield Charizards. You can get raw of them for less than $15. Yeah, so I went through the most graded cards for PSA. The number one was, again, was this card. Again, these are all 10s, but they're both the combination of Japanese and English. Or sorry, Japanese and Chinese, not Japanese and English. And if you don't know the difference, oh, that's Japanese. So like the Chinese is the English new back, and then the Japanese one. So there is just something to keep in mind if you ever see those. But yeah, that was the number one most graded card. And then out of the top 10 cards, only 2 of them were not Charizards, and the other one being the Lugia V Altart from Silver Tempest was like the number 8 or number 9 most graded card. So 8 out of 10 were still Charizards, which is amazing. Fun says, I love Rainbow Rare Pokemon cards, but the Trainer Full Arts is superior to the Rainbow. 100% agree. For trainer cards, you definitely don't want them in Rainbow Rare, in my opinion, too. And I think the market actually is kind of showing that to be true. The market is definitely not valuing Rainbow Rares the same way they're valuing some of these Altart cards, at least in my experience. Wes Bragg says, grading is only for resale, which is sad. We can't look at a card and say it looks minty or played, but we didn't get an employee of a company that is overwhelmed, underpaid to tell us that it's great. Shake his head. Yes and no. I think, Wes, when you get to a certain point in this hobby, I think you run out of things to buy and collect, and you really do start worrying more about that condition rarity, to be honest with you. Herman Jose Santos says, PK, how dare you not pick the Raichu Rainbow Rare from Shining Legends? Also a great card, and probably one of the Raichus I have the most of, because I want to say the Shining Legends Raichu is probably like a $4 card. There's a lot of Shining Legends Raichus. Shining Legends, I'm still telling you, has the best ever Mewtwo artwork with the Mewtube. Pokebondo says, glad I bought a whole lot of tag team last year, even the normal, as Cool Trainer Ryan would say, have been rising like the Gengar and Mimi, going for 100 or 18 to 30-ish in more recent time. Yeah. Saul P says the Gengar Mimikyu tag team is one of his favorites. Definitely one of my favorites too. Oh God, I jumped to the bottom again. Studio said people will like the rainbows again, since they said none will be in Scarlet and Violet. Maybe. Do you think that would be funny too? Is people don't like rainbows because they could have them now? Like nowadays, people pull a rainbow, they're like in a way like disappointed. I don't think that's true 100% across the board. Like a lot of the V stars, there's still a couple of the rainbow ones, but like the Brilliant Stars Charizard V Star. That's a perfect example. People pull that in the regular one. It's definitely not worth as much as the Charizard V Star Rainbow Rare. So there is still a little bit of a premium to some of these cards in certain sets. But yeah, it's like people are almost sad when they open them now today. But yeah, remove ourselves out of the Rainbow Rare timeline. In the future, people might look at those cards as being like super rare again and wanting them. Shadowless Jack said, rainbows are done for good. Get them while you can. Prices are rising already. So Max says, he was never a fan of the rainbows, but he'll say they look way better than break cards, except Lugia Break. That one is nice. Break cards, huh? I say probably the only break card I really enjoy is maybe like the Greninja, or yeah, the Lugia. It's probably up there. I just love myself. Yeah. I don't know. Break cards are one of those funny things. Like, talk about a card that would cost $1 forever. Break cards give you that very similar vibe to a lot of the way people are thinking about like Amazing Rares now today. Different artwork, obviously. Break cards being like a horizontal design, where Amazing Rares definitely have like, busting out the frame, very similar to like the Gold Stars, where the first cards ever break out of the frame of a Pokemon card. So it definitely has that feel to it. But I think break cards for a while were sitting around $1 a piece, and the fact that now you can't really pick them up for $1 a piece means that I do feel like a couple people have moved to break cards. But yeah, the Greninja is definitely my favorite because I love myself some Greninja. It's just like Hidden Fates. My favorite personal card from Hidden Fates is, everybody's going to be like Charizard. Fuck the Charizard. It's not about the Charizard. It's all about the Greninja from Hidden Fates. Full art, shining card, all day, every day. And it's not even expensive. Expensive being relative. Pokebondo says, my heavy play Raichu from Gold Star from his childhood isn't tainted yet. People are laughing about MetaZoo. See, we got Mason Berry in the chat. If any of you guys are not familiar with Cardinal Game, I recommend you guys checking him out. Only problem with Mason Berry, he doesn't hit the like button, but we'll let him slide on this one. Don't be like Mason Berry, guys. Hit that like button. Let's see. PA Pokemon poll says, so I guess in Pennsylvania, you live in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Pokemon poll says, I've used CGC for 2 years and I'm thinking about switching the PSA. Thoughts? My thought is you should have done it after your very first CGC submission. I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. If you have submitted a lot of cards to PSA, or sorry, if you've submitted a lot of cards to CGC and not to PSA, I want you to take a very hard look at all your seals and let me know, and look at it in an honest way. Don't look at it in like a biased way because you like CGC, obviously. Look at it in an unbiased, impartial way. Look at every single seal you had for that card, and then look at that card. If it was in a PSA slab for the same grade, what it would have sold for. And more importantly, if that card was like a CGC 9.5, then you look at what it would have sold for in a PSA 10. And if you could impartially, honestly tell me that you made a better decision grading those cards with CGC, I'm going to say more power to you. But I think it's highly unlikely that in an impartial way, you can look at what you graded those cards for in CGC and tell me that you didn't lose a bunch of money by not grading them with PSA. We got Thrifty TCG in the chat. Good to see you. Thrifty has a good channel too. Oh boy. Let's see. So Wes says, thanks again to TCA Gaming for making vids about the Gold Star Dogs debacle. Yeah, I think so. The way I found TCA's video was from like E4. I think he made a post originally in E4 when he purchased his very first Gold Star Dogs, but I want to say that's going back to about 2015. So the irony of that is 2015 is now 7 years ago. It doesn't feel like 7 years ago, but yeah, I want to say, yeah, TCA Gaming posted those Gold Star Dogs video in 2015. That feels like a long time at this point. But I think time forgives all and people forget everything. And some people probably don't even know those videos exist and don't understand why there's so many Gold Star Dogs on the market. So Fat Belly Collect says, I have no money and can't wait for my tax return to buy more. That's not a good way to look at it, man. Son of a Merc says, anyone think rainbows will go up once they're gone since they are rare card? Maybe. I think they're just slept on right now. Shining Cardboard says, I predict the Charizard GX Rainbow from Burning Shadows and Pika VMAX Rainbow will skyrocket. If you're talking about the Pikachu Rainbow, obviously the Chunkachu from Vivid Voltage, I think when you look at raw prices, it's worth it to pick up that card. You'd never be picking up that card graded. Now, the Burning Shadows Charizard, this is a problem with Burning Shadows Charizard. Print quality, man. Anybody ever open up Burning Shadows? It's like fucking Edward Scissorhand cut all your cards straight from that sheet. They are the most janked, terrible print quality of any set, arguably, in modern history. Like Burning Shadows, every card is butchered. And that's probably one of the reasons that Charizard GX has held a premium for so long. And, you know, one of my conspiracy theories is I do believe that someday in the future, very similar to that Gold Star Dog debacle where somebody had a bunch of Gold Star Dogs that made it out of the back door of some printing facility, I have a bad feeling we're going to see the same thing with that Charizard GX from Burning Shadows. The pull rates from Burning Shadows were abysmal, absolutely abysmal. Paul Neeson said, do you think Crown Zenith is a good set to invest in? I think it's a good set to invest in if you have good price points. I think real early on, I think Crown Zenith was probably like a lot of raw plays right at the very beginning. When you open up Crown Zenith and you look at what cards are selling for in a 10 right at release, it's very similar to Celebrations. No difference. It's the same kind of set in a way. Celebrations, if you opened up Celebrations at release, there was a positive EV, meaning the expected value of opening that was greater than the sealed product. Same thing was true about Crown Zenith. At release, if you open those, especially if there was a lot of $20 to $30 cards in Crown Zenith, you know, so right at release, positive EV. Here's an example. So that Pikachu, secret rare. So I got my first Pikachu secret rare I got from Battle Pokemon. I traded him a card for this. This is just one that I picked up off an auction on eBay. Near mint card. I think it's going to hit a 10, my personal opinion. But I'll give you an example. So Mr. Mime is French. He's one of the followers of this channel. He opened that card himself. So let's just say he bought a Crown Zenith ETB. We said he spent $50 on it. He opened that card. We're going to count every other card in that ETB at a value of $0. So he spent $50 on that card. He express graded it to PSA. He spent $75 to grade that card. So he was all into that card for $125. He just sold that card at auction like 3 or 4 days ago at and the auction ended at $513. So he bought that card. Well, opened it out of an ETB, cost him $50, graded it for $75. Grading a card at $75 is a very high risk play. Spending $125 all in on a card, he sold it for $513. Like, think about that number. That is a play you can do. So when you ask, are things investments? Yeah. Are you talking strictly about sealed product plays? Listen, I don't like doing sealed product plays until I feel that the market for the graded market has gone down. It's the same thing with the Charizard UPCs. I already talked about earlier in today's video. Charizard UPCs, at the time of release, they were never one time at the time of release ever a sealed product play. Anybody who kept Charizard UPCs sealed as a sealed product play right at the beginning probably lost money. One, MSRP, well, MSRP is technically $119.99, but you can pick them up all day for $100. Anybody who picked up a Charizard UPC at $120, kept it sealed, is technically down $20 in my book because nobody's going to buy it for that. Charizard UPCs right at release, cards were selling for $35 raw for each promo. Graded, they were selling for greater than 180 and a 10. For 90, they were selling between 60 and 70. The play for those were to grade. Get your 3. Yeah, I understand the print quality was shit, but out of the 34 cards I sent from my original batch, not including the shit I'm still sending today for Charizard UPC cards, but the original ones, I hit 20 out of 34 of those hit a 10. Think about that. Those 10s were selling for greater than 180 to $200. That was like printing money. So yeah, it's the same thing with Crown Zenith. To answer, that's a long-winded answer to your question, but the answer is not keeping stuff sealed today. Crown Zenith is going to get reprinted, and when it gets reprinted, your product is going to stay at that $50. Like, you might see a little short-term time or short-term price jump where they're no longer really available on shelves, and the second or third wave of these Crown Zenith ETBs haven't hit, and then maybe your Crown Zenith ETB is going to be worth $60, $70. But guess what? When those reprints come and you go back to 50, you go back to your starting point. Your $50 you bought that in at is going to be stagnant money for a decent amount of time until eventually Pokemon stops reprinting Crown Zenith ETBs. But at that point, you're probably going to be very aware when the last wave comes out. And then when that last wave is released, then and only then, in my opinion, is that your time to jump in and then start acquiring positions as an investment. So to answer your question, your investment will be there someday. I just don't think it's there today. I think there's too many ways to make money right now in that. And especially some of these singles too. Market's crazy. Modern 10s, first to market, always sell for a premium 100% of the time. It's the dumbest thing ever. And eventually prices will retrace. And then then you just got to watch the market. Once things start to retrace and things aren't worth grading anymore, that's when you stop grading them. But right now, today at release, listen, I got a lot of cards going out right now, just Crown Zenith plays, because like, even cards, I didn't open any of these. None of these are cards I open. They're just, I'm telling you, people love cute artworks. 4-letter word, cute, C-U-T-E. People love cute artworks. You want to make money grading modern cards? Cute. That's a word. Take it to the bank. Pokemon says, I keep one of each rainbow Pokemon I like, but I don't go out of his way to pick them up necessarily. Yeah. Wes says, PK, I've been in this hobby for 8 years and ain't run out of ungraded stuff to buy, but I see what you're saying. Some people got to think their stuff is better. I have raw cards that I know would grade a 10. Yeah. If you have those that you could grade a 10, this is the thing I talk about when grading 10s. Can you replace that card? If you can replace that card easily, my recommendation to you is to sell that card. If you don't feel you can replace that card, let's say you have some real nichey, early WotC 10 or 9 or something you personally graded yourself in childhood cards, that's a different conversation. I'm never going to be the guy to tell you, don't sell your childhood cards. It's like, you'll regret that eventually, whether it's today or 5 years or 10 years from now. Eventually, you'll regret selling your childhood cards. But assuming you have like some WotC card you picked up raw, you graded a 10, super low pop, then you price that card accordingly. You're not lowest to the market. You sit on that card, you wait for that card to, sell. I'll give you an example. My favorite card of all time, Base Set Raichu. If you're not new to this channel, you know why I like Base Set Raichu. Base Set Raichu, when Logan Paul opened up his booster box, so we're going to rewind a little bit. October 2020. First edition, Base Set Raichu, had a pop of 87 in PSA 10. Fast forward to here we are, February 2023. We are now multiple years removed from the Logan Paul box break and all the hype of hypes and the booms of booms and all the shit that went on. That PSA 10 first edition Raichu is now a pop of 88 in a PSA 10. All this time, how much of that card was added to the pop? 1. Think about that. Maybe it's 2. Maybe it's 89. I could be wrong. I haven't looked at that in like 2 months. So within the 2 months, I'm not going to throw it out. Maybe it's 89. The thing, it doesn't matter. Went from 87 in October 2020 to 88 or 89 today. That's a population increase of 2 of a base set holo. And how many first edition booster boxes have been opened in the last 2 years? It's been a lot. How many of those Raichus have been pulled? Actually, it's been a lot. How many of those have been graded a 10? 1 to 2. One that I know of. So put it in for a second. Let's see. All right. I scrolled to the bottom. Listen, this chat went long. It went for an hour, 26 minutes. But for all you guys that tuned in, I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you're new to this channel, do me a favor, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We do a lot of these lives. I do have, look down at my playlist. If you like playlists, go in the playlist, look at the podcast series. There's a lot of good lives that went on. With that said, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Every single one of you guys that are new to this channel, I appreciate you. My goal is we definitely got to get Pokemon TCG drops on one of these lives, and Pokemon TCG drops, I appreciate you kind of sending people to the channel. But with that said, guys, I'll catch you on the next video.